Throughout history, humanity has faced many epidemics. Some were forgotten quickly, while others left a lasting mark for generations. Each epidemic throughout history brought its own fear and uncertainty. We have not yet forgotten the effects of the pandemic that emerged in 2020 and shook the world. And now another one is making headlines again. Monkeypox. In today's video, I wanted to focus on a current topic from everyday life. Therefore, we will be discussing monkeypox, a disease that has recently been in the global spotlight due to its effects. So what is the monkeypox virus? How does it spread, and is it truly dangerous? How did this disease gain global attention? If you're ready, let's start exploring this topic together. By the way, if you enjoy this kind of content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like the video. Your support means a lot to me. Welcome to my channel, Discovery of the Mystery, where we will uncover the secrets. The monkeypox virus, also known as Mpox, has caused global concern in recent years and led the World Health Organization to once again declare a global emergency. Although Mpox may seem like a new disease, a similar crisis occurred in 2022, causing significant global anxiety at the time. However, once the disease was brought under control, the outbreak was halted and the emergency declaration was withdrawn. But now this virus is back in the spotlight, and the situation needs to be addressed again. The monkeypox virus is closely related to the smallpox virus. Smallpox is known as the first disease we eradicated entirely with vaccines. Therefore, we are not unfamiliar with these types of viruses. In fact, we know them quite well. These viruses, belonging to the Poxviridae family, are often named after the species in which they were first isolated, rather than the animals they infect. For instance, the pox virus seen in cows is called cowpox, although it is actually more common in rodents. The monkeypox virus was first discovered in monkeys in 1958. However, the virus is more frequently found in rodents, such as marsupial rats and African squirrels. The global situation regarding monkeypox has evolved since the first outbreak in 2022. At that time, the outbreak, particularly caused by the clade 2B virus, led to a significant number of cases and deaths worldwide. As of 2024, the situation remains concerning, especially with the emergence of more lethal variants. The Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC, has been particularly affected, with over 16,000 suspected cases and more than 500 reported deaths. A large proportion of these cases are children under the age of 15. The case fatality rate of clade IB is around 3 to 4%, which is higher than the approximately 1% fatality rate observed during the 2022 outbreak. In general, the symptoms and transmission routes of these diseases, often referred to as pox-like illnesses, are similar. In the meantime, it's important not to confuse smallpox with chickenpox. We could say that chickenpox is actually a pseudopox disease because the virus that causes chickenpox comes from the herpes virus family, not the Poxviridae family. However, the symptoms are similar. Returning to monkeypox, the virus may have initially spread to children in Africa, likely through contact with the skin of small mammals they played with. Nowadays, because contact with wildlife continues in these regions, the virus can repeatedly be transmitted to humans. Unfortunately, this disease can spread not only from animals to humans, but also from humans to humans, which could lead to global outbreaks. The primary transmission route of Mpox is through skin contact. That is, the virus enters through visible or invisible cracks in the skin when an infected person touches someone who is not yet sick. This transmission can also occur through shaking hands, coughing, engaging in sexual activity, or from the shedding of blisters on the patient's body. Mpox is a rather insidious disease. Its symptoms do not appear quickly. Unlike COVID-19, symptoms manifest not in 2 to 3 days, but within 5 to 21 days. This may not seem like a major problem, but our knowledge about the spread of the disease during the period before symptoms appear is still limited. Therefore, the issue must be handled with care. However, it's also important to remember that the blisters that transmit the virus may not always be in visible areas. For example, they could be hidden under clothing or in the genital area. This is why during outbreak periods, especially in high-risk areas, It's crucial to be more cautious about shaking hands, touching surfaces in public spaces, and selecting sexual partners. If you are not in areas where the disease has been reported or have not been in contact with people from these regions, there's no need to worry. It's hard to miss someone who has contracted Mpox. The disease first creates red spots on the skin, which then develop into noticeable sores. These symptoms are accompanied by fever, headaches, muscle aches, swollen lymph nodes, chills, and fatigue. In most cases, even if the disease is left untreated, the immune system will fight off the virus and the blisters will start to scab over within a few weeks. However, these scabs remain contagious and can accelerate the spread of the disease. Fortunately, the case fatality rate of Mpox is quite low, and in most cases, the disease is overcome within a few weeks. However, in some cases, serious complications such as encephalitis, sepsis, or pneumonia may develop. Therefore, high-risk groups such as children, the elderly, pregnant women, and those with weakened immune systems need to be extra cautious. Unfortunately, there is no specific treatment for this disease. The symptoms are managed to make the illness less severe. Two main variants of Mpox have been identified. One is the milder version found in West Africa, and the other is the more lethal variant found in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The outbreak in 2022 occurred due to a mutation of the milder variant. This new variant spread rapidly across the globe, but was eventually contained through successful mitigation efforts. However, the Clade 1b variant we are now facing causes more severe symptoms and increases the rate of human-to-human transmission. The measured fatality rates so far range between 4.3% and 5.7%, with the majority of cases occurring in children. Will this outbreak grow? It's difficult to say for sure, but for now, a crisis on the scale of COVID-19 is not expected. This is because the virus evolves slowly, the disease is easier to overcome, and the risk of severe outcomes is low. Although the likelihood of Mpox becoming a major epidemic is low, it's crucial to gain more knowledge about this virus, strengthen our healthcare systems, and give scientists the attention they deserve. However, a significant problem lies in the insufficient stockpiles of vaccines that are effective in treating the disease. Smallpox vaccine stocks are quite low in many countries, and this poses a major threat in scenarios such as bioterrorism or biological warfare. Some countries may not even have any vaccines. Unfortunately, some nations prioritize money over human health in their healthcare sectors, as they are unwilling to stockpile vaccines for a disease that has diminished in impact. But in today's world, wars are fought on many fronts. The reality of biological warfare, which everyone acknowledges and accepts the risks of, exists in our lives. Even considering just this risk, it is necessary to increase smallpox vaccine stockpiles. Particularly after the 9/11 attacks, countries like the US, France, Japan, and Italy increased their smallpox vaccine stockpiles due to the risk of biological warfare or terrorism. But it can still be said that the number of doses is low. As I mentioned earlier, we do not expect the outbreak to grow or turn into a serious crisis. Of course, it's essential not to let our guard down. However, even if the outbreak intensifies, there is no need to fear the disease. In countries with high access to medications, clean environments, and widespread hospital networks, severe cases and mortality rates are low. The necessary actions for governments are also clear. Closely monitor the outbreak, promptly diagnose and isolate cases. Remember, knowledge is power, and we will overcome this crisis through reason, science, and awareness. So what do you think? You can share your thoughts on this topic in the comments. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed my content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and stay tuned. You can support my channel by liking and commenting on my content. Until we meet again.